Hello guys, I'm Jigsaw, and a lot of you have asked me to make a Wesker guide, so I decided I'd do it. This one is just going to be like part 1. I'm going to cover the basics of Wesker. I'm not going to get into the advanced stuff, but I'm just going to cover damage and all that stuff. First of all, he has his health is a 1,100,000. I would consider him a mix-up character. He's mostly, you got to use his teleport and his gun. You just got to confuse the opponent. He's like a mind games character, I guess you could say, and I would personally rank him top tier, though I don't think there is a tier list yet. I would either call him either the first or second best character in the game. He is a very strong character, and he will confuse your opponent. So let's get going. Alright, let's go over Wesker's first thing, which is his gun. You can shoot forward by pressing forward heavy, and it will do 80,000 damage on hit, but you can also use it as an OTG by pressing diagonal down heavy. It'll still do the same amount of damage. You can also do it in air by pressing down heavy while you're in air. It will still do the same amount of damage. It does 80,000 on hit. It's a great zoning tool. You can keep your opponent away from you the entire match. Though it has slow recovery time, you can still get caught with hypers, and it also does 24,000 damage on block. Another thing you can do is while you're right after you shoot your gun, you can teleport. You can do that in the air or on the ground. No matter what button you press, it will all be the same for air and on ground. For ground and air, if you press heavy right after you shoot your gun, you'll go above the opponent. If you press medium right after you shoot your gun, you'll go back. And if you press light when you're shooting your gun, you will come towards the opponent. Now you can also do that without shooting your gun. You can teleport without it. You do forward dash forward, and you can it's basically the same principle. You just heavy makes you go up high, forward, medium sends you back, and forward just sends you forward on the ground. You can also do it in the air like it just showed. You can do as many as you want. For me, I have a little bit of trouble with the execution with the forward down forward, but I can also still do it sometimes. And see how you can still shoot your gun. A lot of things what people do is they'll do a jump. They'll usually super jump or just normal jump depending on the range, and do jump gun and then down back, or they'll press heavy and they'll send them back to the floor. It does massive amount of chip damage, and it's very effective. Now it's on to the recap. The gun does 80,000 on hit, 24,000 on block. The teleport is great for a mix-up game and getting around your opponent. You can use this with beams and whatnot. Like any assist would that allows you to like get behind the opponent while your opponent is blocking is very useful. You can use the teleport by hitting an attack button right after you shoot. Like I said, heavy makes you go up, medium makes you go like backtrack almost, and forward makes you go forward on the ground. And you can teleport to get around some hypers. It can be used. I'll show you right now actually. Although this may not be the best example, I know you can do it for a fact with Magneto Shockwave. Now it's on to Wesker's Cobra Strike, which is a quarter circle forward light, and it allows you right immediately after you do it. You can shoot your gun, do the OTG, and then you can continue a combo off of it. Now you can't do that with moves like say like a special in air. You can't do that. You can do it with this though. I would recommend doing a medium, crouching medium afterwards, and then a heavy, and then whatever you want to do afterwards. If you want a hyper or if you want to special and launch them back up in the air. It's a pretty good tool. I would usually recommend using it in a corner, because if you use it mid-screen, it's kind of hard to dash forward and then get it. It does, I forgot what, I didn't even look at it. But it does 30,000 damage on block, and it does, we will see in a sec actually. But as you can see, 30,000 damage on block, but it does 100,000 damage on hit. You can easily combo off of Cobra Strike or combo into Cobra Strike. If you're having trouble, it's easiest to get the OTG when in the corner, like I said before. But like what you should do is just like a crouching medium, heavy, then Cobra Strike, if you're in the corner, then repeat in either special, or I'm about to go over the Ghost Butterfly, but you can do that also. Alright, this is Ghost Butterfly. It's basically quarter circle forward medium. It does 120,000 damage on hit. It's similar to Cobra Strike, but instead of knocking them to the ground, it will knock them against a wall, causing a wall bounce. It's same principle as Cobra Strike. If you're in, though this one's easier to do if you're mid screen. If you're in a corner, it's an easier wall bounce. Though you could do Cobra Strike to Ghost Butterfly and bounce them off the wall. But if you're mid screen, it's much easier to dash forward than I would do crouching medium, and then that whole process. It actually works very well. Right here, I was trying to show you guys. I don't even know if I hit it. I was just failing with my execution. But the Ghost Butterfly, it does. I don't know why I keep showing Cobra Strike. That's so much fail. Yeah, or that. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that. But the Ghost Butterfly, it does 36 damage on hit, or on block, I mean, and it has a slow recovery time. Let's do a recap though. That was a terrible example of what I did. I did other moves. I'm sorry about that. Does 120,000 damage on hit, 36,000 damage on block. It's similar to Cobra Strike, but Ghost Butterfly can be used in combos easily. It's slower than Cobra Strike and causes a wall bounce. Not very safe unless used with a combo. I wouldn't recommend starting a combo with this. So what I would do is do it at the end of a little process. You don't want to like start this off. You don't want to immediately do this because it does have a slow recovery time and it will get you caught pretty easily. Now it's on to the Jaguar dash, Jaguar kick, and you can also do a Cobra Strike with it. If you watch other Weskers, you really don't see them doing this a lot. How much damage does it do? It does 36,000 with the Tiger Knee, and see, you can combo immediately off of it. But like I said, you don't see very many Weskers do this because it's really not that safe. If you notice, if I'm too far away, it will completely miss. You have to be pretty close to use it, and it's just not effective. Along with the Tiger Knee, after the Jaguar dash, it's also called Jaguar kick, but it's also known as Tiger Knee. What the hell am I saying? You can do a Cobra Strike and combo off of it. It is part of the whole like link thing, and you can do the same stuff with the Cobra Strike as I said before. Though, like I said, I would not recommend using this. It does 9,000 on block, and if you really look, it's just not a safe move. And if you notice, Weskers never use it. I guess you can use it to get across a map fast if you don't want to like teleport, but other than that, I don't know why you would. It does 15,000 block damage with the Tiger Knee and 30,000 with Cobra Strike. Okay, recap. Damage varies on the amount of hits with the dash used. Oh yeah, that's why I couldn't figure it out. The damage is different with each dash. It's used with Jaguar kick, also known as Tiger Knee. Adds more damage plus a chance to combo. After Tiger Knee, can use Cobra Strike to continue the combo. On block, dash only does 9,000. Tiger Knee only does 15,000. Dash Knee, then Cobra Strike does 30,000. It will miss if not close enough, leaving you open. Can be a useful move if landed though. And though not safe, I wouldn't recommend using it much. Now it's on to, I think, one of the coolest moves in the game for Wesker. It's the Mustang Kick. Now there's three different versions. There's a light version, which that wasn't the light version, that was the heavy version. There's the light version, the medium version, and the heavy version. The heavy version does the wall bounce. The medium version, it's kind of like the Cobra Strike thing. You can do an OTG, medium, or combo off of it is what I mean. And the light version doesn't really do anything. That wasn't a Mustang Kick, that was just a regular grab. The Mustang Kick, it's I believe it's, what is it? I gotta think real quick. It's a half circle attack. Now that's kind of weird for me to say. You can use this on block. Since it is a grab, they have no chance of getting away from it. that was the light version right there. See how it's not very effective, but the heavy version and the medium version is very effective. The medium version I would recommend using in the corner, and the heavy version I would recommend using across the map. It's kind of like the same thing as the Ghost Butterfly thing. See how the medium version can be comboed off of. But I'd say use the heavy version when you're across the map. I've yet to use this very much, but it's very effective at like keeping control of your opponent. You can easily combo off of it, and that was not a Mustang Kick again, but that was I think that was a light version, medium version, and then I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's a heavy version. The heavy version, though, I think they all do the same amount of damage. We will see in a sec. I'll just leave you here with this real quick. Okay, it's on to the recap. The damage for all of them, no matter what, it's 100,000. It can be used on blocking opponents because it is a grab. The light version cannot be comboed off of. The medium version can be comboed similar to Cobra Strike, and the heavy version is a wall bounce and can be comboed. Now it's on to the Tiger Uppercut. The Tiger Uppercut is a counter move. The low version does a launch, which is that. I'm going to have to slow it down because it goes really fast and it's really hard to tell. The light version, I mean, does a launch. The medium version goes straight like that and is a wall bounce. Though he did block it, I was just doing it against the CPU. He would have bounced against the wall. And the heavy version is also a wall bounce, which will be shown real quick. It's a wall bounce like that. Now this is very hard to land. If you do it right, though, it can be used well. It's similar to the hyper, which I'll go over in a sec, real soon actually. And yeah, that's right. The heavy can only be used against projectiles. It does not work against actual like physical attacks. And the medium and light works against physical attacks. Light, one last time, is air, it does launch. Medium, wall bounce. Heavy, wall bounce with against projectiles. Recap: it does 120,000 damage on hit, 36,000 damage on block. It's a counter attack, so you must be hit for it to work. Each version, you move a little bit differently and depends a little bit differently. It's hard to move. It's hard to land because you must be hit. Don't use it often. Only use it when you know for sure it will land, because otherwise you leave yourself open. Alright, so now it's time to move on to hypers. The first hyper is Phantom Dance. It's a quarter circle forward, 2 attack buttons. It's kind of like a 50-50 hyper because sometimes it doesn't land, or not exactly it doesn't land. It could actually drop your opponent out of the combo or out of the hyper in mid combo. And the damage scaling on this is a little bit weird. I'll go over that in the recap. But you can also easily cross your opponent up with this. Now I'm gonna leave you at this and show you real quick some DHC stuff. Alright, now it's on to a little bit of DHC stuff. This can easily be DHC'd with certain moves. I just kind of double DHC'd right there to show you. Magnetos, it works pretty well because it goes full screen. It goes to the very top of the screen. Other ones, say like reuse, you're gonna have to time it right. Sometimes you can do it, if you time it just right, you can actually shoot the Hadouken straight up in the air and it'll land perfectly. You can also DHC into it pretty well if they're in air, but like I said, sometimes it will miss. It's a 50-50 hyper. A little bit of recap: the damage is 285,700 at 15 hits. It's 25,000 on the first hit, though the damage scale is 0.96. So each time it hits, it does less and less damage. It can be used in the air and can be comboed in air. Like I said, it's a 50-50 type hyper. You don't know whether it's gonna work for sure or not. Most of the time it does, and it can, but it can also drop your opponent out. It has a slow recovery when the hyper is over, leaving you open. Though it does have a slow recovery, what I can do sometimes is I trick my opponent by DHCing into reuse beam, and while they're trying to do their hyper, trying to catch me, I get them with the Hadouken. It can cross up pretty well, and if it's a jumping opponent, since it bounces all over the screen, it could actually cross your opponent up without him even knowing, and he can't help it, or he didn't block well enough. Though it can be countered with another hyper. It can be easily countered with another hyper, or it can even be hit with anything. So if someone is pressing light right as you do it and it hits you, it will stop the hyper immediately, which is kind of a downside. Like I said, sometimes the combo can drop in mid attack, and it can also be hard to DHC with certain hypers. You need to be able to tell where your guy is and just pay attention well. Now it's time to move on to the other hyper, which is the Rhino Charge. It is a quarter circle back, 2 attack buttons, and it's a counter attack. It's like the one I went over earlier, where it's back, whatever, I forgot what it's called. It's a terrible move anyways. Not trying to discourage anyone, but this one is actually pretty effective if you time it just right. What it does is at the end, when they get hit, it kind of crumples them. It's allowing you to DHC or continue a combo afterwards. If timed right, it's actually very effective. What I like to do is I like to use it when on Hulk's Meteor, whenever he uses that, or if someone uses it very randomly, because you can easily counter it. Just stand there and then do that. Little recap: it's 250,000 damage. It is a counter attack, so you must be hit to work. You can combo easily afterwards, or you can even DHC afterwards into another hyper. If you're not hit when you hyper, it can leave you vulnerable. It kind of, though, I don't know how to explain it, you do have a short time that you must be hit, and then there's a recovery time. It can stop any physical attack, so only physical attacks can hit you, like if they actually hit you, but cannot stop anything non-physical. I mean, if it's part of like, if it's something normal, it will counter it. But if it's like a beam, or if it's, say, Wesker's gun or something like that, it won't counter it. You'll just get hit and you'll take damage. Now it's on to Wesker's final hyper. It's a level 3 hyper. It's performed forward, down, forward, 2 attack buttons. It's similar to like other level 3 hypers. It's not a grab, but it does have an invincible startup, and it just hits. It has a very short range though. I would probably recommend comboing into it. Always forget to tell about the damage. It does 450,000 damage. But like I said, I would recommend comboing into it. Otherwise, it's not going to be. You have a chance for them to block, and then you're going to get punished. And it does a lot of damage, so if you got to make sure that you hit it, because you don't want to waste those bars either. But there's a lot of tricks that you can use with it, which I'll actually go over in the next video, because you can X Factor into it and it does a ridiculous amount of damage. Like I showed you right there, a little sweep into it, that was just a short little combo, but it does a lot of damage and it's very effective. One last thing, it does 450,000 damage. Now block, it does 6,000, though you don't want it to hit on block. That'd be really bad unless you're really going for a chip out or something. It has invincible startup, which means it can go through hypers, it can go through anything on startup. It should be used in a combo, not randomly or by itself. You don't want to randomly do this. I understand sometimes there's an execution error, and that would just suck though. It's a level 3 hyper, so it takes up 3 bars, of course. It has a very short range, and it cannot hit an assist. I think almost all the level 3 hypers cannot hit an assist. Any of the grabs can't hit an assist, so you have to hit their character out at the moment. Alright, so that's it for episode 1. This is probably going to be 2 parts. In the next episode, it's going to be the combos. I'm going to go over combos, basic and advanced combos. I'm going to go over setups, resets, mix-ups, assists, and assists to use with Wesker, and so basically team building, basic tips and tricks with Wesker also, and basically try the best that you can use to get your game up with Wesker. And I'm also going to be going over with X Factor and all the stuff that you can use with X Factor, the tips with it, setups with it, all that good stuff. And this is my first time ever making a character guide, so I would love feedback. This turned out to be longer than I expected, that's why it's going to be 2 parts. So thanks for watching, if you actually watched the whole thing. Thanks, peace.